When the original KTR1 came out, it had a very rough start. It was the first handheld done by somebody who wanted to make a handheld that they'd always wanted but couldn't find themselves. It was a small project from a team or a single person who offered multiple options, stick up top, D-pad up top, whatever you want, you could order. Different colors, different materials. You wanted metal, you could have metal, you wanted plastic. And a beautiful screen, a 4.5-inch 3:2 ratio that hadn't been seen before, and the world's first MediaTek G99, long before Ioneo used it in their Pocket Micro. But it came out with quite a bit of a poor reception. The team couldn't keep up with problems that arose in shipping or repairing. They couldn't follow through on promises, and it ended up having a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. A revised version was released, and we did a review of that in this aluminum, which improved in many ways. And you can go check out our previous videos. But since that time, the creator has been quietly working, forming a team around him, getting help, and introducing the KT Pocket R2. And we received it today. We're going to do an initial unboxing and quick look. This is not a review, but I wanted to get this up quickly to show you guys. Now, again, you have multiple options, this time 2 different screen ratios, the original 3:2 high resolution, or now a 4.2-inch 4:3 classic ratio. We went with the 3:2 original. We're going to box it and take a look at it. And again, this is not our in-depth review. This is just an early preview, a quick catch and impressions, because I wanted to get this out and let you guys know what we think. But let's hop on and unbox this thing and tell you what I discovered in my first few hours with the KT Pocket R2. All right, so we'll start with the box here. Here is the original KTR1 box, and here is the new KTR2 box. It is very similar. They look quite the same. It's a little bit bigger this time around. Looking at the box though, it looks really nice. We do have the KT Pocket R2 on the top with a picture of it, which is a nice classic design, a little bit changed from the original. We have the KT Pocket logo along with the R2, the name of the model. Moving to the side here, and we do have our specs here. We have a Dimensity 7300. We do have dual screen options, which means you can order this with either a 4.2-inch 4:3 screen ratio screen or the 1680 by 1080 3:2 ratio screen at 4.5 inches. That's the one we got here today. It does have a massive battery, and then it's made of magnesium alloy shell, which is a metal fill and really light. We got the KT Pocket COM on the side. And then on the other side, we do again have the 2 models. You can have stick top or bottom for the 3:2 screen ratio. Again, that's a 4.5-inch, the same we saw in the KTR1, that beautiful 1620 by 1080 3:2 ratio. Or we got the 4:3 ratio, which is a 4.2-inch, and we think is similar to maybe what the Pocket S Mini and Pocket Air have, but we're not sure. And it says driven by excellence. Moving to the back, and we do have the KT Pocket logo here. I did want to say we do have a limited company here listed, Shenzhen Kentropi Technology. I was going to check out and see if that is on the original. That is not. So the original with Neil, I think, was really a one-man operation, but it looks like perhaps now there is an official company that is sort of backing this, but you know, I don't know, but it is on here now. I thought that was kind of neat, kind of show that on the screen. Let's get this thing open. And on the top here, we did have some screen protectors. I'll get those out of the way. And here's that, oh, that handheld, that gorgeous yellow. Gorgeous yellow. And beneath, we do have a USB-C cord here. A nice USB-C cord. Now this one is actually branded. That's the first time we've seen this where it's branded with the KT Pocket logo. Pretty nice C to C, not A B, not A to C. It's a C to C chord there. That's pretty nice. Oh, the only thing that I didn't like, or really didn't like about the original, it returns. Yes, unfortunately, we do have the SIM card ejector, meaning that there is that SIM card tray, like we just saw in the Pow Kitty, excuse me, the Game MT EX5 or PSK 5,000, whatever. Anyways, I'm not a fan of those. Below this, there's nothing else in here. We just do have those screen protectors. Thank you again, Neil, for providing a few extra for me. Do appreciate that. There's no manual in here. And so let's get this out of the way. And let's take a look at this handheld. And oh, first in the hands, oh, just feels so good in the hands. This is a strikingly beautiful handheld. I really like the overall shape of this. I like the feel of it. My first initial impressions in holding this is it's light. Even though this is a metallic alloy, it is not very heavy. And there's some kind of coating that's been applied to this that feels really, really good. So just take another look at this. This is a aluminum magnesium alloy, and it is not much heavier than the plastic version. But let's take a look and start going over the buttons like always. We know that one of the criticisms early on with the original version was the buttons were kind of bad. So let's check these buttons out. Oh, they're nice size buttons. They feel nice to hold on to. And they've got a really good range of motion, and they're quiet. They're not very loud at all. Listen to that. So the buttons seem really good. I appreciate the little diagonal there that kind of goes between them. They are not connected. They do push independently, and they're not loud. I like the size of them. Moving over to the D-pad, which was another contentious of the original one, and we now have a disc-shaped Sega Saturn style D-pad, which I love usually. So let's see about this. And yeah, it feels good. It feels like it might need to be broken in a little bit. I have used so many D-pads lately that perhaps I've gotten a little spoiled, but this does feel a little bit like maybe it'll need to be broken in. It is an improvement over the original. Again, you can see here it is a dome type. As you look here, the dome type, like a Sega Saturn, it's got a nice size to it, and it's definitely not raised too much. So, and it does, again, pivot pretty good. It just feels like it might need to be broken in. And then my favorite improvement here are the sticks. That's right. We have some really good feeling sticks here that look amazing. You can see that they are pretty nice as I try to adjust them here. And yes, they are removable, so you can remove them and use the other types of stick types that we're used to, and they don't protrude out really far. So that being said, I like the way they feel. I think they're in a good position. I did go with sticks on bottom because I want to use this more like a PS2, and I like the PS2 controls with the sticks at the bottom, and so it feels good. Good range of motion, and we'll see how they do in the tester. And then we have the shoulder buttons, and these are, oh my God, they're so quiet. They are so quiet. Look at that. They are very, very quiet. You can barely hear them as I press on them. They have a good distance to them. Now, of course, you're giving up analog. You're giving up the stacked shoulders for the pocketability, but man, they are really quiet. And then along the top, we have a volume rocker here and our power button. We do have a speaker, or maybe it's a vent, and we have a bigger vent. And then we have our four function buttons. Now, these two right here and these two right here are going to be used for different things. These also are super quiet. Very, very quiet as I press that. Yeah, look at that. Very, very quiet. We do have speaker holes down here at the bottom. And then on here, oh, there's that SIM tray. That SIM tray I don't like, but it is there. A headphone jack, a USB-C port. And then on the back, we do have, because it's metal, we do have this grip, which It's kind of scratchy, but it feels good. I like that it's raised just enough to hold it. This thing is a nice size. It's been refined from the first one. It's just really, really nice. We do have an air vent here. And yes, no branding on the back. The black original plastic had the KTR logo. Future other colors didn't, so I think the same thing here. Overall, this feels really good, but let's do some size comparisons next to the original and some of the other handhelds next. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about this, the AM8 dynamic microphone from our friends at Fifine. I have been using Fifine products for a while now. In fact, you might recall that they sent us their gaming headset and I used it for the podcast, the Save State podcast back on Christmas. I found that to be an excellent headset. And now they have sent me a newer, updated version of their AM8, which is an update to a microphone I've been using most recently to record my content. You guys have heard me record content with various different microphones, some of them worse, some better, but the Fifines have always been the ones that have got the best results. And as I'm recording this now on the new AM8, it's a beautiful device that has a nice, classy look to it that's professional. It also has support for XLR, although I use it through USB. It has a great sound to it, a solid bass, and it comes at a fantastic price. If you're interested in picking one of these up for your gaming sessions, or maybe you want to start your own podcast, click the link below to pick it up. We want to thank our friends at Fifine for supporting the channel and giving us the opportunity to use their equipment to help make the great content we bring to you guys. Anyways, back to the show. All right, so let's take a look at the comparison with the original. This is the original KTR1 in aluminum. Now this is the revised model. I no longer have the original plastic that I had, but you can check my links on the below for the videos for both of those if you want to check out the original ones. Now, between the two of these, this is aluminum and it's much heavier. As I pick it up, I'm reminded very quickly just how much lighter this is between the two. And as you can see here, they are not very dissimilar in size. There's not a whole lot of difference between them in size. He sort of kept the overall look and feel of the original pretty much intact. It's pretty similar. You can see the ports here are a little bit different, but not much. Not much at all. We do have a little bit bigger triggers between the two, and the vent is a little bigger, but the layout of it is pretty much the same between the two. It just has better ergonomics. Now the back of the original here, as you can see, is just a bit flat, and this has more of a shape to it. It does curve inward a little bit, so this is pretty straight and flat. Also, this material here, it just feels a little more premium. It feels better. I don't know that it's actually different material, but it feels a little better. And then, of course, we did not, with the G99, we didn't have any exhaust here, no active cooling, and we do have it here. So that is a big difference here. Now, for those of you that didn't know, Neil, the person that started this company, started this brand, has a background in improving thermal and handhelds. I think he worked with the company GPD, but he has a background in that, and supposedly, or it has been said that he's very good at it, and I would believe it. And so this thing has been really optimized. But overall feel of this, it just has so much a much better, more premium feel. Now this has a colder touch to it. The metal of aluminum always has a more of a metal. It feels more metal of a cold touch. This does feel a little, I mean, you can tell it's metal, but it also has this coating, so it's just a little different. The other metal handheld we'll take a look at is the RG477M, which has a bigger screen. It does have that 4.8 inch or 4.7 inch 4:3 screen, and this is that 3:2 screen, as you can see. And the metal on this is much smoother feeling and has that coldness to it. This doesn't really have that cold feeling of metal. It just feels a little different, but it's just so good. But you can see the difference in size here and also pocketability. It looks like the 477M is just maybe a hair thinner all around, but it is bigger overall. So I think for pocketability, although it's questionable whether either one of these is truly pocketable, the KTR Pocket 2, KTR R2, KT Pocket R2 is going to have a little bit of an edge there. But here you can see all three next to each other, just so you can kind of get an idea of the size of them and what we're talking about. Again, the original aluminum, we have the magnesium shell here, and then we have the RG477M. But let's boot this up and take a little look at it and give my initial impressions on what I think of it. It is not running the KOS. There will be KOS software that has been developed for a long time for this. We should have that soon. We don't have it at this moment, but we will have that. So this is just basic Android, but it is this Dimensity 7300. And so we're going to go a little bit over the stuff I learned. Again, this is just initial impressions. I wanted to get this out pretty quickly so you guys can kind of see it and kind of see what it can do here. All right, so let's get this thing booted up. Again, this is running Android 14, the Dimensity 7300. As you can see, it boots in here, the MediaTek logo right there. And once they have KOS, it's going to be optimized to boot in really quickly. But this didn't take too long to boot into this or to really set it up. Now, it did arrive to me in Chinese, so I did have to go into Android and change it to English. But as you can see here, it goes into a very basic setup. It's not too overly bloated. I have added a few items here, but the overall responsiveness of this is very, very quick. One of the things I did want to show, shout out to the Discord for helping me with this. If you hold these two buttons here and press them together, you do get a Aya Neo sort of sidebar here. Now, unfortunately, some of this is in Chinese writing. I don't think you can change it to English, but you can see here it does show the frames per second. It shows the CPU speed, which can go all the way up to about 2.4, maybe higher with the cooling solution here in your GPU speed. One interesting thing is you can click this and you can also change the screen resolution. I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm not really going to dive into this. Once we go further into the review, we'll do more of this. And then right here, this is where you can change the performance level. This is the low, basic, or battery saver. In the middle is your balanced, and at the bottom is your performance. So we can change it to the performance setting here. Again, it's pretty simple. You just press these two together and that pops up. So I like that quite a bit. But let me show you here. Yes, I did get some of the secret console running. But I did want to show you some gameplay footage here of the secret console running. Now, this was on an older version of Uzu Edge, because when I set this up, I wasn't somewhere where I could really get everything set up. But it was pretty impressive that we could get some of the games running here. I have no doubt here that a lot of this will play at the level. The Dimensity 7300 is sort of running neck and neck with the Snapdragon 865 that you find in like the Mamie Pocket Max or the Retroid Pocket 5. And I would say that that is sort of the feeling I have from using this, that I've played it. Again, this is not the review, just an initial overview of this, of my experience with it, initially getting it. Again, it feels really good to hold this as I go into some secret console and play a little bit of the Super Mario Maker 2 here. And again, this is not optimized. This is Dimensity, so you don't really have a there's not really a Dimensity driver. You're not going to put turnip on here, but you can see this is just running pretty smoothly. Also, almost getting 60 frames per second, using about 3.5 gigs of RAM. This is an 8 gig model, so pretty good for that. Now, if I could, I will get it set up and try some different, better versions of emulation for this. Also, PS2 is going to run, as I show you some footage here of PS2 running. I was able to get Tekken Tag Tournament running pretty good. No problems with that. It ran pretty well. And even something like Sly Cooper 3, I was able to get it up and running. Now, I don't know about all these settings. There's like a cooling fan here, or I'm assuming, again, some of this is not where I can read it to set it. But we can do things. Let's change that resolution here. And you're going to see it just kind of freaked out because I changed the resolution. It's building the shaders, but still playing fine. Again, this is a nice 1620 by, that crashed it. This is a nice, feeling, responsive so far. It moves real fast and smooth. Let me bring up the controls here, and you can see that we have nice responsiveness here on the D-pad, everything working really nice and smooth. They put it back in the balance mode. So yeah, so this is my initial look at the KT Pocket R2. Uh, I am very confident in saying that this is improved overall in many ways. In every way possible, it's better than the previous versions. I like the weight of it. I like the feel of the coating of it. The feel in the hands is great. Of course, the screen is beautiful. It's the same screen on the Pocket Ace that we saw also, that we've seen on the Game MT, maybe the same screen on the Game MTEX8. Now that has the same screen ratio and same resolution, very similar screen if not. And this is going to play things very well, as you can see here. It also sounds great. Listen to this as I play a little Sly here.
Endeavor not to miss.
Excellent. Radio control.
In position.
Recovery team. Are pumped. Submersibles. Showtime, baby. Telekinetics. The ball has stopped rolling. We've got an obstruction.
So, anyways, that's been a look at this. I know this is a little bit different, but I wanted to get this out pretty quickly for you guys. But yeah, that's our first look at it. It is overall very, very nice. I'm going to have a full review on this and put it through its paces and challenge it. Not perfect by any means, of course. We'll find out what issues there are. And hopefully this D-pad will break in a little more, but it looks great. It feels great to hold. And so far, I'm excited to play it. Anyways, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.